Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades, I hope you're doing well. This is Kenya Revolutionary. It is afternoon Kenyan time. If you're in Europe, it's probably lunchtime or something like that, or approaching lunchtime. If you're in US, depending on where you are, it's probably early in the morning, or whatever the case is. If you're in Asia, it's at nighttime, whatever the case is. But karibu sana, this is Kenya Revolutionary. Let's review really quick what has transpired today. As we know, there was a couple of petitions that were put forth in the court system in the judiciary to try to stop the debate on the Senate. And we just had the judgment, well, not judgment, but the court has pronounced itself on the matter as far as, not being able to stop what's going on in Senate. Actually, they ruled that the Senate can go ahead with the debate and make their own decision, go ahead with the impeachment process. But here's what's interesting about what they say. Before we get to that. Also, Gachagua is supposed to give a press conference at 7 in a few hours I don't know. It is rumored. I don't know if it's true, but it's rumored that Gachagua might resign. There's several people posting that, Gachagua, through his emissaries, went and talked to Ruto to negotiate for, a nice package, an exit package, VIP treatment, security, all that stuff. In exchange, Gachagua has to retire. Not retire, but resign, sorry. But we'll see. Those are just conjecture at this point. It is said that Gachagua will hold a press conference in a few hours. So we'll wait and see what happens. But I just want to focus on this, the judgment by the courts, because it's very interesting. It's not a judgment, but it's a pronouncement. It's basically the court gave conservatory orders. We'll break down what that means, okay? Before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades, go ahead and like the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, share, like, comment. I hope I'm clear enough. If I'm not clear, I will adjust it. So let's just review real quick. Let's get to what the court says. Because as we speak, it's been a few minutes, okay? It's been a few minutes. Let me just go ahead and highlight what was said today on that news so we can break it down. And this basically gives Rigathi Gachagua a lifeline, okay? Understand me, a lifeline. I'm not saying that he will be exonerated from all this, but he has a lifeline, and that is through the judicial. Remember, there was a debate. The likes of Nelson Harvey were saying that, once the Senate decides on this impeachment, because remember, the National Assembly already voted to move the motion on of impeachment, so it is up to the Senate to make their cases, look into the evidence, and they'll decide whichever way they decide. And I'm saying this, in case the Senate goes ahead with the impeachment process and Gachagua is officially impeached, he can still go to the judiciary. And that's basically what these conservative orders are. And this is what the courts basically said in this issue. The main takeaway on this pronouncement by Justice, is it Mwita? He basically said that we have any, constitutional matter, any issue to do with power. Yes, the judiciary has the power to intervene or interpret the law if there's any disputation about the process or the threshold, if the threshold was met. I believe it's Article 145 or 150. Sorry, 150, which spells out how in the case what will constitute reasons as to why a deputy president can be removed from office. We're about to go through all that, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and brothers. So like the video. Let me just start with the video so we can just give it context, because I'm talking out of my head right now. I want you to give to play the whole Justice Mwita's pronouncement, so that way it can give you context on what we are talking about, right? Okay, so let's get started. Let's just go find that what he said, and we'll get to the nitty-gritty And this is a good news for Gachagua. Good news, good news. I don't know what he will be doing. If I was his advisor, I would be like, you know what? It's a risk now. It's a huge risk because if if you wait still, if the Senate, and of course the Senate goes through with this impeachment process, and he's impeached, obviously the matter will go to the courts. Now, if he fails at the court, if the court maintains that the Senate and the National Assembly actually did everything right, the grounds for impeachment were okay, missed the constitutional threshold, then his act is messed up, is screwed. Okay, he's done, because that means that he will never run for any public office. Now, if he resigns, okay, and has that package that is rumored to be negotiating for with Ruto, then in the future he can always run for president or whatever the case is. So this is where we shall actually see if what Gachagua is made of. Again, I'm not a fan of Gachagua. I never voted for him. I never voted for Ruto. I never voted for Raila. I never voted for anybody. But fair is fair, wrong is wrong, right is right. In my opinion, the 11 reasons that we were given as to the reasons to impeach him were bogus. They were the flimsiest grounds of impeachment, in my opinion. But thank God it's not about my opinion. It's about how the legal system, the senators, the National Assembly will decide that. And if they fail, Justice Mwita and the gang will probably take care of that case. Let's give it context. As I said, lock in, like the video, share, like, comment, and do all the stuff. Let's get to the video and let's listen in on the judgment, on the pronouncement that was rendered by Justice Mwita. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, while I do that, please like the video, share, comment, and do all the good stuff. Here it is. To Wanze, this is a minute long.
States that a motion dated 26th of September 2024 was tabled in the National Assembly on 1st of October, proposing his removal from office as Deputy President of the Republic by impeachment. The National Assembly allowed the motion on 8th of October 2024 at 9 p.m. On the same night, the Clerk of the National Assembly transmitted the resolution to the Clerk of the Senate. The petitioner states that the resolution passed by the National Assembly is invalid on several grounds. These include that the impeachment motion is replete with general unsupported allegations, hearsay, and outright lies without particularization, and specificity as required by Article 145, Sub-Article 1 of the Constitution, and Standing Order number 64 of the National Assembly Standing Orders. The petition further states that the National Assembly did not conduct constitutionally compliant public participation prior to passing the impeachment motion, and the impeachment motion did not also meet the threshold in Article 145, Sub-Article 1, among other grounds. The petition.
Okay, so that is basically highlighting the case Gachagua or the petitioners were making against the proceedings that are going on in the Senate and the National Assembly, the legislative body. Okay, that's basically what the petitioner was saying. They're saying, hey, the public participation that was they were claiming wasn't really a public participation. It didn't meet the threshold. Unfortunately, also, there's a bunch of noise. There's a lot of discussion as to the qualitative nature of public participation, and also the quantitative nature of this. You might have a public participation, but was it qualitative? What did you get out of it? What was the general consensus of the people? Now, if you were to go by that, I mean, based on the news outlets that we found, the mainstream media, and even the other kind of outlets there, you can say that the general consensus from the Wananchi was that Gachagua, these reasons, Gachagua should stay. Okay, not because people like him, but the argument was, if Gachagua was to go, the president also should go, because the buck stops with the president. Now, that's not the issue here. The issue today, which Justice Mwita was addressing, was not if Gachagua stands to be impeached. It was it was in response of the petitions that were put forth to stop the proceedings, okay? And like I said before, when I got started, I said, basically the court says, through Justice Muita, said they gave a conservatory, order. Conservative order basically says, let the proceedings at the legislative body go on first before we deal with this issue. You understand what I'm saying? So, two main things that I took away from this, again, I will read it. And Waikwa and among other lawyers, non-Kenyan lawyers, have echoed the same sentiments. The court established two things. They said, yes, they do have jurisdiction on this issue in case it comes to their docket or whatever the case is. Okay, so if the impeachment process goes on and Gachagua is impeached by the legislative body through the National Assembly and the Senate, and the matter goes to the courts, the court says, yes, we do have jurisdiction over that issue, because there are a bunch of people who are saying the courts has no jurisdiction of this. Once the Senate and the House gets to decide the Gachagua is impeached, that's over with. But now the courts have said, no. We do have a say in this and we can determine. And I said that in another platform. I gave the example of the whole finance bill 2022-23 when Okiya Mtata, petition in the Judiciary, claiming that the process in which the finance bill was passed was actually legal, given the fact that what was called the budget wasn't really the budget as the Constitution defines it, highlighting how the budget estimates were not, the revenue estimates were never shown to the members of Parliament. We were just told the expenditure estimates, okay, but not the revenue estimates. So that alone disqualified that appropriation bill. So you can't have a finance bill based on a appropriation budget that's not complete and has legally been formed, appropriation bill that has been formed, okay? So that was the main argument by Okiya Mtata. So he went there and he actually won. So regardless of what the legislative body came up with, the National Assembly in this case, and Senate also, the courts looked at it and they voted against that finance bill. So yeah, so they're right. The courts has jurisdiction over this matter, because, like as I said, this is touching on the Constitution, and the court's job is to look at the Constitution, interpret the law and the Constitution for that matter, to see if the petitioner in this case, who I assume will be Gachagua, if he has a case or not. Now, just to be clear again, what Justice Muita today, the conservative order that was given today, was basically to let the process go on at the legislative body, and once they've concluded their part, the Judiciary will determine if the whole process, or whatever the case is, if the 11 reasons of impeachment were actually met the threshold, or if the process in which this whole impeachment process was undertaken, was it really legal? And that's when they'll actually look at the its and bits, the public participation, which is under Article 118. It requires public participation. Was it satisfactory? Did it meet what is defined as public participation? Okay. Again, they shall look at the evidence. I don't know what they'll be using, but as someone who's not there, just basing it only on the media outlets, a lot of Kenyans felt like this was a witch hunt against Gachagua. Okay. Not that they are a big fan of Gachagua, but fair is fair, wrong is wrong, right is right. So yeah, so that is what's Mariam, I see you there. Thank you very much, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment, subscribe to the channel, please. Here we talk good stuff. Okay, so let me show you what Waikwa and a couple of lawyers were talking about as far as this issue is concerned, and it kind of basically confirms what I was saying about.
States that the motion.
Sorry, guys. Let me just go ahead and show you what I'm talking about with regard to the nature, the jurisdiction, the court's jurisdiction on this issue. Okay, all right. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades. Sorry. Here it is. Let's go to Waikwa. Okay. Can you guys see? He's actually Joshua Malidzo Nyawa. You can Google conservative orders. Just a simple Google match will basically tell you what the heck he's talking about. Okay. All right. So Joshua Malidzo Nyawa says, here's a thread. Number one, jurisdiction. Can you guys follow me? Follow me. Let me just put my picture down so you can actually read. It gives like I said, this gives a lifeline to Gachagua. He can, he has a lifeline. It's a risk, but if he's confident that the reasons that they gave is not enough to get him impeached, then he should go ahead and not resign. If I was him, I would not resign. Be a soldier. Stick it out. Okay. All right. Here it is. A thread. Jurisdiction. Number one, the court has jurisdiction to determine if any exercise of power is constitutional. I just say that. I didn't even read that, but I just said the HC. I don't know what the HC is, but somebody help me. The HC has jurisdiction over any quasi-judicial body. The HC and not the Supreme Court has jurisdiction when an impeachment process is questioned. Okay. Again, somebody highlighted there, Justice Chacha Mwita is about to deliver ruling on whether conservatory orders should be granted, stopping the Senate from considering the impeachment of DP Gachagua. Ruling in courts. Anyway, but we've passed that. We know already what happened, okay? Two, conservatory orders, okay? Conservatory orders, the court should allow another arm to complete the process before it determines the question whether the action is constitutional. Although the court is granted jurisdiction to intervene, it must exercise restraint. So I think that was very prudent of that judge. He basically said, let the process in the another arm of government, which is the legislative arm of government, watch your process ishe mwanzo alafu, then I will, you can holistically look at what's transpired and, make a judgment whether the process was constitutional or not. Okay. And that's when he can make that's in new. But so it's up to Nani. It will be interesting to read to see what Gachagua will say in his press conference. If he has balls, then he should go all out on this and wait for the judiciary to make the judgment on this issue after he has been impeached, in case he gets impeached, because you don't know. Some senators were saying they are not going to impeach Gachagua, Kalwale, Sifuna, and the rest of them. So you never know what might happen. Okay. So basically, yeah. This is basically what happened. And again, let me move to another Waikwa Wanyoke, I think. I believe he's a lawyer. Here is also what he was saying. If you guys can see the screen, can somebody see the screen there? Please join me in reading this. Waikwa said for 3 minutes ago, whatever its final orders, the court confirming that it has jurisdiction to determine if any exercise of power by parliament is constitutional in regard to DP's impeachment proceeding is the most consequential order. So you get it. So the Nelson Harveys that were saying that once the Senate makes their, vote and, debates and vote this issue and Gachagua is impeached, mambo imeisha hapo. No. The court can actually look at the process and determine if it was constitutional or not. So if it's not constitutional, Gachagua survives. And they will look at every aspect of the case, okay? Whether the process in which, this thing was undertaken, was it actually procedural? I mentioned the public participation. What was the consensus? What was the report? The findings by the Senate were the reasons given, which we'll hear from Otiende Amolo and Kaluma. Is it tomorrow or today? They'll argue their case to support those 11 reasons as to 11 grounds that they gave impeach the deputy president, they are going to make their case. And the courts also will look at that and see really what did they make the good, was it satisfactory enough to justify as an impeachment? Was it an impeachable offense? People have debated on all these 11 points, and the majority of the people are saying this, for the most part, it's not really convincing. But again, after all said and done, if the Senate goes ahead and impeaches Gachagua still have a lifeline, and we'll be looking at the judiciary, because now judiciary have said, yes, we do have a jurisdiction on this matter to look at whether the process was constitutional. Yes, thank you, Sam. Mariam, I'm glad to see you. Thank you so much. I'm safe. I'm good. I'm somewhere, warm and nice. Thank you for your concern. I'm glad to see you, my sister. Benjamin Kibara, Ruto must go. Yes, Ruto must go. Again, so yes, listen, let's look at Article 150, which is being used here, which basically spells out how and why and what really is the reason to impeach a deputy president. What under what circumstances does environment, or what does Gachagua has to do to get impeached? Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Let's look at it really quickly. It's Article 150, I believe. 150 of the Constitution. 150 of the Kenya Constitution. We shall read it together so we can, because this deals with the removal of the deputy president. Okay, guys, are you ready? Please don't forget to like and share and subscribe to this channel. My name is Kenya Revolutionary. I talk about Kenyan politics and all that stuff, okay? All that good stuff. So be part of it. Usually come in every day, and I bring in people to give their views to. So join me in this, all right? So go ahead and subscribe and share, like, comment, and do all that good stuff. So yeah, all right. Let's read the Article 150 that deals with the removal of the deputy president. This is 2010 Constitution. So let's read it together. Are we going to read it? It's brief. It's really brief, to be honest with you. Okay. So here it is. I hope you can see. Is my thing loading? Is it loaded yet? Okay, good. So here it is. It says, number 1, the deputy president may be removed from office, A, on the ground of physical or mental incapacity. If he's incapacitated. Kizungu tech. Kizungu ngumu. Incapacitated, right? Incapacitated, okay, right. If he cannot be mentally, he's not there, and physically, he's not there. So, A, on the ground of physical and mental incapacity to perform the functions of the office, or B, on impeachment, okay, number 1, Roman number 1, on the ground of a gross violation of a provision of this Constitution or any other law. 2, where there are serious reasons to believe that the deputy president has committed a crime under national or international law. Or 3, gross misconduct. 2, the provisions of Article 144 and 145 relating to the removal of the president shall apply with the necessary modification to the removal of the deputy president. So basically, you've seen that. I don't know if you guys can read what I'm saying. Mabri Karibu Sana, I see you. I might bring you in. Like, I wasn't planning to be here long, but I can bring you in if you have something to say. So Article 150 basically spells out how the process of removing what might qualify as to a reason to impeach the president. Impeachment, basically impeachable offense by the deputy president, again, on the grounds of physical and mental incapacity to perform, if he's unable mentally or physically to perform the function of the office, or to be on the impeachment on the grounds of a gross violation of a provision of this Constitution or any other law. 2, where there are serious reasons to believe that the deputy president has committed a crime under national or international law. Or 3, for gross misconduct. Then again, 2, the provision of Article 144 and 144 and 145 just it reads on the impeachment of the president and the deputy respectively. Relating to the removal of the president shall apply with the necessary modification, the removal. So you see, given those, if you go read those 11 grounds that were given, reasons as to why they want to remove him, do they really meet the threshold? Because, I mean, if you want to argue that, like one of the big arguments that they were saying, Gachagua, Aliba, I mean, has acquired land or has a lot of businesses. Again, you might argue, let's say when there was a case right before he became the deputy president of corruption or whatever the case is, but that story, Elisha, it was already determined that he did not, aliwachiliwa or whatever the case is, right? You can't use that against him right now because since he became deputy president, I don't know what crime he has committed yet. We are yet to see. He might acquire land and running business. He might have 1 million businesses and proxy companies. That is not a crime unless he acquired them illegally. And if he did, you have to prove that. Because I guess, that will come under Chapter 6, which, you can pitch someone over. So I don't see a strong case against Gachagua. That's why if I was his advisor, his legal team, I would say, listen, write it out. It's a huge risk, but it's worth it. I don't see the court actually impeaching Gachagua. Anybody, even a 2-year-old. I'm not a fan of Gachagua, like I said. I'm not a fan of him, but it's obvious that this thing is more politically motivated. There's nothing legally. I don't see any reason why Gachagua can be removed from office. I just don't see it, but we'll see. And that's why I'm so interested to wait to see what he will say in his press conference in a few hours from now, which I might cover. I don't know if I will be here, but I will try to cover it to see what Gachagua really says. Again, Gachagua, if you're watching this, please somebody tag Gachagua to this live. Go ahead and do not resign. Do not resign, because once you resign, you've already locked yourself out, okay? William Ruto went through it. You go through it. I'm not supporting you, but I'm just saying, if you want to stick to your guns, okay? Joyce Anthony says, those MPs use constitution when they want. They lie to be heard, but when they expecting corruption, bribe, okay, I think that's what you mean. Each other Wanjiku money, they not breaking the law, and corruption, bribe, not constitution. Yes, I agree with you. Dead on arrival, that impeachment for DP Gachagua. Absolutely. So it will be interesting. First of all, I don't know when. I think the Senate had to vote on the issue tomorrow. I think. Is it today? I know they're debating it right now. I don't know if tomorrow they'll be voting on the issue, or is it today? But if again, Gachagua, if you're watching this, go for it. Go to the Ninio. Take it to the courts. Take it to the courts. I think you have a better chance of being saved by the courts than relying on the legislative body. That's what I will do. So I'm interested. I can't wait. I want to see what will happen when this issue goes to the what? To the courts, okay? Right? Now there was there were some people who already started talking about the process of choosing another DP and whether if the president, because the president is supposed to nominate a new DP within the next 14 days. If Gachagua is impeached, then I think the Senate or the National Assembly has like 60 days to approve or see that through, vote on the confirmation of that new DP. But there's an argument that the IBC is the body that needs to actually check on the qualifications of the new DP, the nominated DP, okay? And since we don't have an IBC, that might be a story, that might be problematic. So there are people who are debating. Aden Duale and Wanyoike was debating, but I will not touch on that because I still believe Gachagua can maintain his position as the deputy president of the Kenyan Republic if he chooses to go to the courts. If he resigns, then press conference in a few hours. We'll see what he says. Ama namna gani? So we'll wait for the press conference and listen to what Gachagua says in his press conference today at 7 p.m. Kenyan time. Okay, watching from Australia, Joyce Anthony. Nice meeting you. Thank you so much for watching from Australia. Make sure you subscribe, share, like, comment, and do all the good stuff. Okay. Now there was talks. There were people giving their views. I think what's his name? Onyonka was breathing fire as usual. Very let me not say famous, but household name at this point. Who usually goes to these talk shows and makes his view known to the public. And here is what he was touching on earlier today. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen.
How many times have we said here, it is not an accident that in 1963, Mzee Kenyatta disagreed with Jaramogi and Murumbi. You come, Moi disagreed with Kibaki and Saitoti. You come, Kibaki disagreed with Raila, Kalonzo was on the side, struggling with it, he didn't know how to handle it. What happened? Uhuru came. Only that Uhuru maintained William until after his first term. The second term, William went crazy. So what is repeating itself is exactly what William did to the president, who was Uhuru. So why are we behaving?
So is that the purpose of Article 150?
Absolutely.
To deal with a disagreement in the president?
Absolutely. Which was never meant, the constitution we brought in on 2010 was to cure that. The constitution...
Let me rephrase. Is the essence of Article 150 to cure disagreements between the president and the deputy?
Absolutely. It is supposed to act as a deterrence. It's supposed to make you have second thoughts. Because you won this election as a presidency. William Ruto didn't go and say, vote for me, decide whether you're going to give me Gachagua or not. They went as a team. Uhuru went with President William Ruto as a team. So where we are today, and that is why, if you remember during the elections, how many times did William Ruto say, I will never mistreat my VP. I will never treat him the way Uhuru has treated me. I will never do that. Now, the reason why people are saying we don't care about what you're saying is because everything looks, not that the president could be the one giving instructions for those things to happen, or even if it was, it doesn't bother me. The point is exactly what he said he wouldn't do is exactly what has happened.
Now, another funny part, Abdinasir, Senior Counsel, Grand Mula. I don't know how this guy became a lawyer, for real, but he was corrected by one of the people in the comment section. I will read his stuff, and he gives a total misreading of what really transpired today. I will touch on what he said in his tweet in a second. Just hold on for a minute. Let me read Joyce Anthony. We was watching the MPs in Parliament House. Even kindergarten couldn't behave like that. Kenyans need to stop voting MPs because money they should think of these peoples are good. Yeah, these people, they bribe their way into power. Now, I wanted to read Abdina said before I go back to Onyonka, because he said basically Onyonka, you heard what Onyonka said. Onyonka is highlighting Article 150. Again, the one we just read, which deals with the removal of deputy president to avoid what used to happen. Remember when Moi will wake up and tell his vice president, remember Moi will wake up and choose whoever as the new vice president and fire his vice president whenever he feels like, basically. Okay, and we saw that he gives a historical account of when Jaramogi and Jomo Kenyatta, then Moi and his several vice presidents, and so forth. You saw what happened, okay? So Article 150 basically tied the president with his deputy to be voted as a presidency, as together. So if the president wants to get rid of the deputy, it's something that is really hard. He has to do that through the legislative body or even the courts, and they have to have a good reason. You can't just wake up and say, I don't want this deputy president anymore. No, it has to be a process. It has to be an impeachment process that has to take place. You just don't wake up and say, I don't want my deputy anymore. I'm tired of him. You can't just fire them like that. So that's basically what Sojonka is saying. But like I say, I wanted to Abdel Nasser, I do not rate him as a serious lawyer. I do not know how that man became a lawyer. His reading of things are out of this world. And I don't mean that in a good way. I mean that in, I don't know. Okay. Let's just see. Can you see the screen, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades? Let's read Abdel Nasser, what he said. Abdel Nasser, 29 minutes ago, just tweeted, said, told you early morning that the court will not stop the impeachment process of regarding Gachagua because the constitution doesn't give it that power. Again, Abdel Nasser, the courts cannot stop the legislative body's proceedings. Okay? At this stage of the case of the impeachment process, the matter is still at the legislative body. Okay? So the court cannot put an injunction to stop what's happening at the legislative body. Why? Because that's a different arm of government. Okay? There's a different arm of government. So the court is acting in restraint, is restraining itself from interfering on the process which is happening in another arm of government. These arms of government are independent, or supposed to be. Ideally, they're supposed to. Constitutionally, they are independent. So the court cannot rule on a matter that is still going on. The process of impeachment at the legislative arm of government has not been concluded yet. So Justice Mwita cannot rule on something that hasn't even been concluded. So he has to wait for the process to end at the legislative body. Then, when the matter is brought to him to rule on as to whether the process was constitutional or not, then the court can make that decision, interpret the law as to whether the process was constitutional or not, whether it happened at the legislative body. But they have to let the process be concluded at the legislative body. Then, when it's brought up to them to review and see and interpret the law as it relates to what's transpired at the legislative body, they can then make that judgment and say, hey, this was constitutional or it wasn't. But as of now, they can't do that. But here he is, Abdel Nasser, saying, oh, told you early this morning that the court will not stop the impeachment. Okay, the impeachment process is right. Impeachment process. I missed that part. Process. The impeachment process cannot be stopped. But once that's concluded, the court can actually overrule what was decided at the legislative body based on whether or not it was constitutional or not. Okay? So, no qualms there. Understand? All right. Let's go back to Onyonka and other people. What's he say? Yeye na Murkomeni wamefunzwa law na ulimwengu. Murkomeni. Nowadays always Murkomeni. Anyway, let's go back to what was being said on these talk shows in the morning as I give you what you need. Okay. But anyway, again, like I said, it will be very interesting to hear what Gachagua will say today regarding his press conference that's coming in at 7. I would hope he doesn't resign. If he resigns, he's a coward. He's a coward. He needs to go all the way through. Don't let this thing in the courts. Gachagua is if you're watching, somebody tag Gachagua, please tag Gachagua, please. Majama, tag Gachagua. Do not, Gachagua, go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Okay, here.
The way you have looked at it, my answer is very simple. The National Assembly was discussing and basically raising issues which they felt many of them were using to justify or to explain why DP Gachagua is actually being impeached. But for us at the Senate, we have decided and we have said this, and it's very simple. We are looking at the facts. We are going to look at each and every accusation that has been laid. If you say that the deputy president has participated in disinheriting children of his brother, please give me the evidence. I'm not going to be discussing hearsay. If you tell me that he's tribal, I will tell you, Sami, that yes, chances are, in fact, those facts that do exist. He was giving names of individuals who come from his community, but isn't that what the president has done in employing his permanent secretaries who are now over 100? And yet in reality, yes, Sami.
What do you mean 100 PSs?
Yes.
No,
absolutely.
In total, they're just about
Sami,
51.
The list can come here, I give it to you, brother. Don't challenge that, please.
There are 15 PSs.
Sami, there are some where you have a department which has got 2.
I'm saying.
Okay, let me simplify it for us. PSs and senior government officers in state departments and corporations. There are more than 100. And if I sit down and give you, wait, Sami.
Would have to count.
Sami, the list is, it started 3 years ago when I was talking about it here. Yes, you can run through that list. So what Gachagua has done is not shocking. That is how we've been behaving. What Gachagua has talked about, this was a company. Shares were being distributed. He said the president kept 60%. He was given his percentage. Musalia and Weta got their percentage. That's the reality. So when we in the Senate are looking at this impeachment, we don't see Gachagua as a failure. We don't see Gachagua as a tribalist. We see him as a consequence of this system which has become so dysfunctional that all we do when we seek power, Sami, is to take state resources, to take state opportunities and share them between our friends, our relatives, and our tribesmen. And that is a fact. So let us interrogate that as Kenyans. Let us know Gachagua is an accident. Out of this reality that we are facing, what is our reality? We are a country that is so dysfunctional that we have gotten rid of meritocracy. What we do, we now reward chronism. We reward relatives. Right. We reward those people who helped us win the election because they donated the money. And it does not matter whether we are going to reward somebody who has no capacity because they come from a poor background, because they're a child of a border rider. And what we have done is basically brought that war to the public, and the public is now discussing it. And that is why when people are saying, Kufa dereva kufa makanga, what Kenyans are telling us is very simple. This system you guys are running, we know it's cooked. So you're either going to get rid of each other so that we can have a new start if there's anything like that can come in. Number 2, or you are going to sit down and agree that you are going to fix the mess that you have created yourselves. And that is where I am. So going to vote in the Senate for me is a matter that I will interrogate. I will look at it. I'll even consider the historical aspect of this.
Okay, he makes a good point. Again, some of these charges are, to me, it's ridiculous. Just like that, okay, you are complaining, Gachagua anasema watu wa mlima, musiguze mlima. That's not impeachable offense. It's not tribalism per se. Yes, he's obsessed with the people of his whatever. Yes, Mabri, I'll get you in. I won't be here for long, but I will bring you in. And anyone else who wants to join in the conversation, you are more than welcome. Come on in. There's the link. I'll be here for roughly 15 minutes. So, yeah, go ahead. Come in, Mabri. There's the link to anyone who wants to join and give their 2 cents on the issue. Okay? Real quick before Mabri joins in, I want to read what Abdel Nasir is saying again here, just released a tweet that I think I found very interesting. What's his name? Abdel Nasir Abdullahi. Abdel Nasir Abdullahi. Is that how you say it? Abdel Nasir Abdullahi. All right. Anyways, where is it? All right, here it is. It's 16 minutes ago. Ruto does speak Kalenjin when he goes, yep, you're right. Adani, that guy from India, he's con man. I'm next year to India, man. Here saying they tell Kenyans to kick him out. Yes, even the India people in India were not exactly amused by Raila's take on Adani. Okay, so here's Abdel Nasir. This is what he said 17 minutes ago. He said, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua has a very short window to resign. If he wants to have a new lease of life in politics, he must resign before impeachment motion kicks off in the Senate. If he tries to resign midstream when the impeachment process is in motion and evidence is tabled and prosecuted by the representatives of the National Assembly, the Senate will not stop the process. It will continue and render judgment. His belated resignation notwithstanding. So, in my respectful view, he must resign by lunchtime tomorrow, at least. In my respectful view, I would say, Gachagua, do not resign. Ride this out. Let them make their decision whether you are if the Senate doesn't impeach you, cool. If they do impeach you, go to the courts. The courts has jurisdiction on this matter. Go there, fight it out. The court, I think, will do a much thorough job than this legislative body that majority of them are basically Ruto's lapdogs. So not that I'm on your side, but listen, you have a better chance in the judiciary than in depending on this legislature. Mabri is here with us. Mabri, karibu. Mabri. Oh, I haven't added Mabri. Sorry, now I can hear you. Endelea.
Good evening, everyone. I hope tumekuwa fit.
Yes, good evening, good evening. Tuko sawa, endelea.
Yeah, such an interesting conversation about Rigathi, and worth noting, Rigathi, by the way, he does not seem to care. Like, hata ukiangalia vile tu anaishi, vile anaongea, he does not seem to care, and I don't think he's going to resign. Let them impeach him. I think yeye ashakubali. Whatever you do, it's okay. I'm not gonna resign. But now, kuna some interesting updates. Parliament walituma 4 people to go represent them in Senate, and among the 4 there is the guy who fronted the motion, Mwingi Mutuse. There is one Senator MP Kaluma. Worth noting, that's an ODM.
Very. Is a pinhead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And then there is Otiende Omolo, who is also from ODM. And there is this other, I don't know, I don't remember the name, but he's from Mount Kenya. And now, you might wonder, how come watu wa Mount Kenya, they were so eager to push Rigathi out, yet it seems like they are kind of beginning to relent, because right now, ukiangalia the way they've sent, the parliament has sent people in parliament, to Senate, it seems like now ODM is now taking over the case, and that should sound a red flag to the likes of Kimani Ichung'was and the Kithure Kindikis, who thought perhaps if Rigathi is out, maybe this and this will be the next deputy president. I know Otiende Omolo might somehow apply his common sense, because I have known him to be liberal, because at some point I remember he even challenged ODM during the handshake days. But for the rest, Mwengi Mutuse, I know is probably there because he's the person who fronted the case. Now, this particular MP from Mount Kenya, I believe is just there to show the people of Mount Kenya we are not cowards, and to show Kenyans we are not cowards. But now I think his goose is cooked because he's taking a bullet for the likes of Kimani Ichung'wah and everyone, and he's going down with them. Now, something you are saying about the court not being able to stop an ongoing legislative process, that's true, because even the Speaker of the Senate, Amason Kingi, already said that in the morning that nothing the court is going to say that's going to stop the process from going on. He said that earlier today in a Senate proceeding. But now, let's look at it in this way. I think if at all Rigathi ataponea Senate, we'll start a back and forth kama hii yenye imekuwa ikihappen between UDA Secretary Generals, that is Malala being the official Secretary General, and there is this is it Omar Hassan or what is his name? Who was,
Omar Hassan,
yes, who was appointed, but now the court went on to recognize Malala. So Malala is just there, is ceremonial, but this other guy, although he's not recognized by the courts, is still calling the shots. So I see a scenario whereby if they impeach Rigathi, but now if the Senate impeaches Rigathi, the courts might overturn the ruling, and once they overturn it, now Ruto will start frustrating Rigathi to leave. He might even decide to front someone, we've seen these things before. They start like they are not going to allow him into the office. His security is withdrawn. Now, because in a scenario whereby Rigathi is not allowed to access maybe security, the much the court can do, they cannot hold the government accountable. They'll only call in this guy mwenye ananini majeshi, aulize. They will not summon any elected leader. They'll move that route. But then, from where I stand, I see this Rigathi Gachagua case as a blessing in disguise to Kenyans, because I believe what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. Ruto must go. At some point, Rigathi must go. But now, the MPs are opening our eyes to show us it is possible.
Yes, but we cannot remove Ruto through the legislative body as impeachment. I mean, that, right?
Yeah, I know that. But at least they are showing us it is quite possible. Like, these executive people can live by either the will of the people or by the parliamentary route. So,
right, yeah, the will of the people, if I may, the will of the people is to get Ruto out.
Yes.
But the people know that this legislative body is not going to impeach Ruto. That's why they even went and, because the whole idea of June 25th was because the parliamentarians, the whole legislative body did not respect the will of the people, which was to get rid of this finance bill. That's why they went and invaded it. So they know that if we were to depend on these people, the very people to impeach Ruto, it's not going to happen. They're going to get paid and Ruto will sit pretty.
Yeah, of course. But now, I'm looking at it in a different angle, whereby Me as a common mwananchi, as a citizen of this nation, there is something now growing in my mind. It is possible to do away with these people. The only way Ruto maybe aliponea ni juu alifanya handshake na Rao, who is unfortunately right now defending the Adani and saying aliwajua sijui 2010 akiwajua walikuwa watengeneza airport anyway. So there is no that idea that these people can go, like really an elected leader can leave office. You get? So I feel either in the near future we'll start seeing these cases coming up, or rather, even if they'll not be successful, but it is a trial. And I see one fact playing in and playing out, the fact that these MPs during the finance bill, they ignored us. And by the way, let me tell you a brief about Mwengi Mutuse, the guy who fronted the motion. Is a very useless person. During Mutua's tenure as the Machakos County governor, that guy served in his office. I think he was he was a lawyer of the county. I'm telling you.
Of who? Mutula Kilonzo?
No. Mutua.
Alfred Mutua. Okay, yes, okay. Yeah.
Hao watu walikula pesa ya wananchi wa Machakos vibaya sana. Aya, if you remember during the finance bill, unakumbuka kuna MP alislapiwa mahali, alikeniwa kwa mazishi na akaamshwa juu kwa juu. Juu alienda kuvote yes against the will of the people. Aja. Go and check. It was that particular Mwengi Mutuse. Yes.
Wow. Alichapwa viboko.
Alinuliwa kwa mazishi bana. Kwanza it was chaotic. Akiulizwa wewe ulienda kumbota aje wewe. Alikeniwa kukeniwa. But now, by the way, I've been looking at the Kenyan politics and something interesting nilikam kuona, and the reason why Ruto ana appear to be like, the superpower. I've always said on this show, the biggest enemy to the Kenyan politics are the people who purport to be party leaders. And I try to look at it. Who is Wetangula, the Speaker of the Parliament? Is the party leader of Ford Kenya. Who is Amason King? Is a party leader. Look at Alfred Mutua. He's a CS and a party leader. Look at the Prime Cabinet Secretary, this guy, Madividi. He's also a party leader. Look at Moses Kuria. He's also a party leader. Like, this guy was so strategic. And we didn't see that coming. And right now, we can't even tell ni nini inatukula. Unaona wananchi, we are like, we want this. Then mtu mwingine anaenda anamwambia we, enda useme hivi.
Yeah, is it that what Gachagua was describing when he was defending himself on that mambo ya shareholders, when he said, if you look at the shareholders, I didn't even know that the president had come into a pact with this wakina Mudavadi. Now the same thing you're just describing right now.
Yes. Like wale watu walibaki nje, the likes of now kina Raila Odinga, he only needed to look at the main guy hapo, who was Raila, and naye amepumbazwa na a lot of things. But now another thing pia nimeangalia imecome into play. I don't know, maybe in your next session, look at the NYS scandal and look at the people who are in
Waiguru.
this government. Yeah, actually, Waiguru was among the people accused. Kama unakumbuka story ya Ruto akisema sijui mnakaa walk mnaenda wapi? You remember?
Yes.
Mnakatwalk na mnatoa pesa. It is because alikuwa mentioniwa kwa hiyo kesi. You get?
Okay.
If you remember, Murkomen was also in that scandal. Mali alikuwa na hiyo time hata hakuwa lawyer. Alisomea school, amefunzwa na ulimwengu. There is Aden Duale alikuwa pale. Like, look at all these people, ndio wanapewa the biggest office to run this nation. So it's like now the guys who wenye wali orchestrate the NYS scandal wenye walikula hiyo do ndio wamepush ubeshte hadi hapa. Because Ruto was in that case, by the way, alikuwa accused and I wish tutakuwa tuna session tuiangalie because it is quite interesting. Now, nani anafrontiwa sahi kuwa deputy president in case of the impeachment?
Kindiki.
No, not really. The first name which is coming in is Waiguru.
Oh, Waiguru, okay.
Yeah, that's to tell you now, it's like anatafutiwa job because si anamaliza term yake by 2027. So akimaliza term yake ya pili atakuwa jobless anyway. So sahi akifrontiwa kama deputy president bado atakuwa legit to and it is so funny because sahi mother alikula pesa zetu za NYS. You remember what time alikuwa devolution CS?
Yeah.
Akimaliza kusimama hii governor, probably kama hata kuwa ameingia kwa gava through hii impeachment ya nani, utaona tu ameappointiwa to another seat. You get? Kenya, we have other competent people who can hold these offices. So yeah. I feel we need to go back we need to go back to time and start looking at these scandals, who was involved, na uangalie wako wapi sahi.
Yeah, they're all in serikali. It's a big club. Ndio maana mimi usema hivi, this whole Gachagua hii mambo yote, I know some people think it's it's a huge mini conspiracy theories, but to me, ukiangalia vizuri, after June 25th, Ruto alitetemeka sana. He was threatened by what happened. Yes. And what was the biggest threat? Na sio Ruto peke yake, ni Ruto na all this political class.
The political class entirely.
Yes, because Wakenya walishikana wakasema tribeless, leaderless na partyless. Wakasema wataki mambo ya ukabila, wanataka kutoa Ruto. Or rather walianza na finance bill, walianza na bunge. Na the next move was Ruto State House. Nani akashikwa na uoga. And from that day, Ruto did two things. Actually, his number one aim was to kuleta watu wa the tribal, finance, the political class wakuje pamoja, which basically roping in Raila Odinga, wakutane, Raila kuja na ile support base yake. Alafu, the next step was to do this, to tenga watu, to divide people, and to divide them along tribal line. But how is he doing it? Number one, this impeachment thing ya Gachagua, he knows that his story ya Gachagua is a very polarizing issue. It's divisive, na watu wa Mount Kenya watakuwa wanashika moto about this mambo ya ninio. Italeta matungamano huko Mount Kenya, okay? Number two, he brings him when he brings him Raila Odinga, he brings him hao watu wa ninio, hao watu wa ODM, Luo Nyanza. Now, vile tu mention, who is going to be making the case kina Kaluma na Otiende Amolo? Go listen to what Otiende Amolo Kaluma is posting in his ninio. He's making it very clear. It's an attack to the ninio, to the people of the mountain. Anasema, nyinyi mmekuwa kwa serikali for a long time, sisi hatujawahi kuwa kwa serikali, it's our turn to be in this. You see, And it is done that way precisely to bring division. Unaona? And you can see some bloggers pia nasema, oh, we shall not have some Kalenjin president ever again. So unaona hizi ukabila inaanza kuinio, and people are starting to divide because now emotions are very high, tensions are very high. People are divided along the tribal line. And guess what? The focus has moved away from Ruto must go. Last time, when did you see the Ruto must go hashtag in your trending? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Exactly, because now it is about Gachagua and Morara and sijui nani, and yani tunazungushwa tunakorogwa hapa na mambo ya sijui Kindiki sijui nani Gachagua sasa sijui conservative orders sijui nini. Mambo ya Ruto must go imeisha. Okay, but at least I don't know, people are talking about 20th Mashujaa Day. I want to see how it will work. Kuna kaposta huko, I'd like to see what's going on. But my whole point is this: Ruto made sure that he went after every influential so-called Gen Z member and either compromised them, jailed them, or even worse, waliwaua with the detainment ambao wale tulikuwa kwa detain na ending up dead, wengine bado still wako detained. Okay, na saizi unaona kina Kasmuel wanashikana na kina Raila. Morara ndio huyo anasema ati anataka kufanya kazi na Rigathi. Hata kuna matime aliwachana na mambo ya vampire nini, amerudi tu jana. Yeah, ameanza kutengeneza t-shirt sasa. Gachagua Dani unaweza kuja kumtetea hapa Nyagaka. So that is the point I'm making. After the political class were being shook in that June 25th, whatever the case is, they made sure that they will work hard to divide Kenyans along tribal lines, and they are using this impeachment issue because they know it will trigger the Mount area. They are using Raila Odinga with this Adani thing because they know that will trigger. They are using Wakina Kaluma, known mouthpieces, these demagogues, to heighten the political temperatures. Ndio ikuwa watu waanze kugombana along tribal lines to move the focus away from what was the next agenda among Kenya people. Kenyans were uniting to get rid of Ruto. That was what the goal was. But now we are talking about impeachment. Now we are talking about who's the possible replacement. Adani, mambo ingine. Go ahead. Thank you. Hiyo ni maoni yangu.
No, by the way, I agree with you 100%. Because I will quote myself. The first day on these shows, I'll never forget that day. I mentioned on the danger of Ruto trying to divide us into tribal lines, of which by then haikuwa evident. So I remember nili receive a lot of backlash from alikoitwa Keep. Akiniambia it cannot happen.
Yeah.
Right now, it is now open. Like mtu anaweza ona what is happening. No, hata nikwambie kitu, kitambo, how did we use to fight tribalism before the easy politics za sahi? It was either through intermarriage ama through business, which was by then barter trade. So hii biashara wanasiasa kukuja hapa kutuambia there is war when there is no war. I don't remember any given time nimetoka hapa nikaenda Kisumu, then I'm being asked, wewe kijana umetoka wapi? Nyinyi ni watu wa huko, wewe nyinyi tokeni hapa, you get. It's only the political class who comes, agitates people, anamkumbusha wewe Mabri si wa huku. Ndio then watu wanaanza kuona, by the way, you get. Ama ana orchestrate something, then it looks like tribal war.
Yes.
Kenya, we exist peacefully with each other. It's only that there are few people and they are the jobless. Wenye anajua akipigwa so 5 apigwa ama 200 atafanya kitu mheshimiwa anataka. Na sidhani kuna mtu kuja, there is no politician who comes and tells you enda upige Mabridge ni Mkamba. No, he'll come tell you wale vijana wako pale sijui wana support sijui opponent, enda tu anze chaos. Ukianza unasikia hii ni vita ya sijui Wakamba na Wajaluo, Waluhya na Wakisii, you get. It's quite complicated. And
Yeah.
Raila Odinga, by the way, naona umeweka tweet ya nani Peter Kaluma. I've never been a fan of this guy, by the way. Akona kesi
He's a
kotini
total
ya,
idiot.
apart from being an
Child
idiot,
support.
he's a deadbeat. Akona kesi kotini ya child support
Dad.
na anapata all those millions. Although I have it
So
from a
sikia kitu
from a good source, alisha nini braibiana huko akalipa ikaenda chini because he was trying to push the family bill, kama unakumbuka. Kwa bill alikuwa na push.
Yeah, sikuifuatilia.
No, nilifuatilia. So hii kesi ilikuwa inachoma, ndio uliona kwanza walinyamazia hii kesi cool down, and he's everywhere calling shots. Na ukimsikia anaga idea by the way
Mjinga sana. Sikia kitu anasema I applaud the maturity of our courts this far. Courts can't intervene in the proceedings of parliament. The courts have to wait until parliament decides, and even where the court overturns the decision of parliament, it can't be under the court's supervisory powers, but only if the decision of parliament is on the face of it unconstitutional. The courts cannot overturn parliamentary decision on the merits. Alafu Kaluma Waikwa namwambia, Kaluma, where are you getting this court can't overturn decision of parliament on merit from? Of course, it can overturn on both merit and process. So Kaluma is a total idiot. Yani ni mtu hata nikizidi kuongea mambo ya Kaluma,
ukimwita idiot unakaa unaharibia idiot jina. No, unakaa unaharibia idiot jina. He's something worse. You get?
But anyway,
something worse.
Yeah. No, anyway, Mabri, your last nio ndio nifunge hii the first session takuja tena in sahii naona watu wanasema hiyo mambo ya Gachagua kutoa press conference ni fake. I don't know if that's true. Unaona saizi mtu amepost hapo anasema it's fake. So I don't know kama bado atatoa hiyo press conference, but either way nitakuja session nyingine ya few hours, like in 4 hours. Tuchambwe siasa, but go ahead with your last submission.
I'll be quick. First of all, let me say this in confidence. Juzi tumekuwa na clash about Uhuru Kenyatta na tweet fulani ya nani. Haitwaje huyu msichana huyu? Aoko.
Yeah, Aoko vile alikuwa anasema sijui nani yako mgonjwa.
Yeah, I'm aware nani anakaa kesho tu, anaingia Kenya kesho. Na hakuwa mgonjwa, ametembea yeah. So maybe mtaona kwa news baadaye, but now history, now the entire politics of this nation, nimeona people are trying to lean on Morara, and I'm trying to tell people, if we are to change things in this nation, we need to do things differently. Hii tabia ya kuworship anyone who comes anatushuka atuongelesha vizuri, alafu what happened? Si Morara endelee kunini na Vampire Diaries, tuendelee kukasirika, tuende kwa streets. Mbona all of a sudden
anauza t-shirt leo, anauza t-shirt. Unaona leo anauza t-shirt. Inject.
No, it is okay, but ndio nasema wakati alikuwa anaenda kwa ground anatuonyesha Vampire Diaries, atuambia this and this happened. How come ali stop? Sahi ameanza kuwa party leader, he has to behave in a leaderly manner. You get? Haimeki sense. Tunapushiwa ni kama wale watu wa 1972 waliambiwa Raila alipigania uhuru wa nini multipartisan is the reason we are enjoying this everything. Sijui ati kama si yeye atungekuwa na watu parliament, KANU ingekuwa ina lead. Where is he right now? He's out there defending the Adani and worshipping Ruto in everything anafanya, actually bootlicking. And it is so, I never imagined old people know how to bootlick.
Si inasemekana hata yeye pia kuna shares hapo hiyo Adani inamlipa somehow.
No, by the way, let me tell you something. The Adani we have in Kenya is not the Indian Adani. It is a Kenyan Adani. Huu muindi yako na gati za kupeleka sijui kampuni zetu kotini ashinde kesi.
Yeah, lakini unajua wanaweza ifanya ni kama franchise. They can do it as a franchise. So Adani anawacha hawa Ruto, let's say Ruto ndio is using this Adani. Franchise basically anatumia jina ya Adani, but he's giving a percentage to the Indian Adani. You understand? So
yes, but I'm saying, in other words, the stubbornness in that company, despite the public uproar, inaweza kuonyesha there are some other interest in it. And surprise you, mtoto wa Ruto is among the people walikuwa defend nini Adani kotini.
Yeah. By the way, your case ishakatwa. I missed it.
Unaona already washachukua nini. It was hakuna mahali ilipubliciziwa. Hata hiyo siku si ndio waliweka the same time na Rigathi impeachment.
Na Morara story.
Hakuna mtu anajua what was decided, but all I know is after that day ndio Adani walichukua Ketraco, then waka-assume now leadership in JKIA. So probably it was something iliwa favor. But ilikanyagiwa, there was no media coverage, there was nothing. Hata haikupublishiwa anywhere. So I think acha nifike hapo for now. Thank you.
Asante. Thank you, Mabri, for joining us. I'll play this. There's one more video I wanted to play. Alafu tutafunga duka for the next session later on this afternoon. For those of you who are going to... Martha Karua posted something a few minutes ago about the Adani thing. I think ana throw shade kwa Raila.
Now that there is a huge crisis, the money of the people is at stake. Apurva continues to be with...
The allegations of fraud levelled against the Adani group caused deepening political unrest on Monday. Some of India's opposition party members were detained by police during protests, with the event stalling Parliament for a third consecutive day. Communist Party of India member John Brittas is calling for a joint Parliament committee.
I mean, we want a JPC or a Supreme Court monitored inquiry into the scandal that is Adani. Adani itself is a big scandal, and the government has to come clean on this. And this is a symbol of crony capitalism that is in demonstration now.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has denied accusations by opposition leaders that he's benefited from close ties with Adani Group billionaire founder Gautam Adani.
Guess who posted that video? Martha Karua. This was a few minutes ago, 22 minutes ago. But in conclusion, I don't know why people are saying this is a setback to Rigathi Gachagua pronouncement by the Judiciary. It's not a setback. It's basically the justice. It's basically what they were supposed to do. They were supposed to let it run its course, then waingie. So like your media.
The court can only overturn a ruling. The court can't interfere with the process. Because there is nothing illegal in the process.
Yes.
But they will decide on the ruling if it's okay or not. Either they overturn or uphold. So there is nothing wrong.
Yep.
It's only that we have stupid parliamentarians and leaders who think now they can show people that, you see, the courts are also with us, like collectively the government we are in agreement, but we know these things, one. What to see, Wajinga?
Yeah. Come on, Kaluma. Who are even making idiots look bad. Here is Adani.
Medical cover to drive. Now, time is ticking for embattled Deputy President.
Ati?
Endelea.
Rigathi Gachagua. The truthful man needs the support of at least 23 senators to defeat his impeachment by the National Assembly. Failure to garner the required numbers at the upper house will seal his removal from office. At the National Assembly, 282 MPs supported the impeachment motion while 44 rejected it, surpassing the required threshold of 233 lawmakers. On Wednesday and Thursday, the Senate will debate whether to hand Gachagua another lifeline or send him packing. Senate Speaker Amason Kingi further rubber-stamped this when he confirmed that no court order would deter the House from proceeding with the debate. Let's just say the Deputy President is caught between the mountain and a hard place. Another roadblock for Gachagua, if impeached, is whether he will receive the lifetime retirement benefits according to deputy presidents under the Retirement Benefits Act of 2015. According to the Act, a retired DP receives a monthly pension of 720,000, 2 saloon vehicles, 1 four-wheel drive vehicle, 108,000 shillings fuel allowance, full medical cover, 2 drivers, a personal assistant, a secretary, 2 housekeepers, an accountant, 2 senior support staff, 2 cooks, 2 gardeners, and 2 cleaners. Other perks include armed security guards, diplomatic passports, office and office equipment, car maintenance, as well as access to the VIP lounge at airports. Lawyers, however, opine that Gachagua will only get those perks if he voluntarily resigns before his impeachment. Should all else fail, his only hope will now lie in the courts to stop his impeachment. Are Gachagua's actions an act of bravery or merely the last kicks of a dying horse? Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, historia Gachagua wanting nini. I don't believe it. It doesn't make sense. Gachagua has enough money to buy his own personal security or whatever. So I don't know. Anyway, Mobile kuna kitu ya kusema?
Yeah. First of all, ignore these AI-generated journalists who think kuongea kizungu mingi makes sense. We know the law, and I'm sorry to say, ukisikia vile anaelezea, you know very well what the process takes, what it means, and where the courts come in. So anyway, worth noting, history ya Rigathi, angalia nini fulani clip ya Oscar Sudi, I think ilitoka jana, na alirant akajisahau akaongea ukweli, akisema wanaimpeach Rigathi because anasaidi na wananchi.
Yes, I played that clip on
Uliplay, yeah. So
yeah.
I think now it's evident Rigathi where he stands. Akona wananchi, the MPs wako huko kichakani. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. And the last video, I promise, the last video nataka kucheza hapa leo. It's a short one. It has to do something with Morara. I called Morara. I called him. I left it a voice message. Limwambia kuja hapo on Friday tuongee. I don't know. You can't anpigia back. Kama nitajaribu kumpigia back tena because he went to the voicemail. But I'm trying to get in hold of Morara. So to quite a discussion because I am calling him out. But let's listen to this young man. I think he has something new to say. Let's listen.
Kenyans, please understand that there are a lot more people who have had a lot. So on Kasmil Makore, Kenyans, please understand that there are a lot more people who have had a lot more skin in the game and have had a lot more to lose, and yet they've still let us down. Personalities won't save us. Countries rise and fall based on what their systems are. It really doesn't matter who is in power. Kenya doesn't need a savior. Only societal and structural change is what's going to save us from the nature of our politics.
Yeah. So for those of you who are wanalialia Morara, Morara nauza t-shirt saa hizi. Nawaambia pale do inaenda.
Can I conclude?
I conclude. Be brief.
I'll be brief. We all come from a family. There is no way you will tell me a child who is born, who is barely 3 months old, can be assumed to be a leader of an entire community, or rather an entire family. In this way, The Moraras, the what do we call him?
Kasmuels.
They are all products of this Gen Z movement. They never convened the movement. It is the movement which has brought them to light. But now they want to assume now they are bigger than the movement. That's the highest level of impunity. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Haya maneno ni hayo. Like I say, Kasmuel Morara, sorry. I reached out to Morara. I left him a message. I invited him to the show on Friday. If he has time, he can come here and explain. I have questions for him. We'll see if he'll respond. I'll try to reach out to him today again. But anyway, we shall be listening to the news and see if Gachagua will have his press conference. Some people are saying that was fake. He's not going to have a press conference. Tutangoja tuone, but we'll know the truth. Black anasemaje hapo? Black anasema kweli mjamaa had focused a lot on what's that? Only not national. On what? On Mlima, okay. I think he's referring to Nani to the vice president. And Ruto find out where flood victims' new homes. No, he hasn't. But yeah, so that's it. Like I said, we shall see. Even if Nani, I say this is up to now Nani Uyo, the deputy president. If the Senate doesn't, if the Senate work impeach, he can still go to the courts, and the courts can save him if the evidence are not satisfactory. By the look of things, some senators are saying they are not going to impeach him, but you never know. It's all about the majority, about the numbers. So hata akitolewa huko bado anaweza kotini. Now he has to make that decision either to resign now or a risk kwenda kwa ninio kotini, and if he loses in court, lose kwa ninio legislative body, then he will never run for a public office. Gachagua, personally, I think he has a lot of money, has a lot of business. I don't think that's his problem. He'll always do business, and hii ni Kenya bwana. Hata ukifukuzwa kwa ninio nani Mike Sonko wants to run for president and is a known, you know what. So hii tutaona vile itaenda. We'll see how it plays out. I'll come back in 4 hours and we'll have another session. Thank you very much, Mabri, for joining us. Joyce Anthony Black, nice seeing you. It's been a while. Nani mwingine, Pen Nyagaka, the biggest Morara fan in the world. yeah. Prince Kaur, thank you. Principal Kaur, thank you so much for being here. And who else? Who am I forgetting, jamani? Kuna watu. Miriam, my very good friend, wa kutoka ni Nakuru. Or whatever that case is. But thank you so much, guys. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, comment. If you're going to watch this on repeat, please subscribe, put your notification on, so every time I come in, you can always find me. And if you want to join the studio, I'll always drop the link here so you can go to the studio and we can have a discussion, debate, whatever the case is, or cast each other out. It's okay. Anything goes over here, as long as we keep it respectful, right? Anyway, again, subscribe, share, like, comment, share it in your WhatsApp groups, share it in everything. Kila pahali, share. I'll be on TikTok very soon, probably by tonight, Leo, or tomorrow morning. I'll be on TikTok, and I'll be going back to X also. Nitarudi kwa X pia. So those are places that you will find me pia. Benjamin Kibara, thank you so much. Sorry, I didn't mean to forget your name. Everyone else too, okay? Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment, and put your notification on. Na hata nyinyi ambao mnaangalia kisirisiri, hebu subscribe hapo, hata kama hutaki kujua ati wewe unachungulia hapa. Subscribe hapo, tuonane baadaye. Ama namna gani? Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you later. Peace and blessings. I'm out.